Hello, and welcome back to ByBit pop-up stream number 8. This is the latest addition to our stream lineup where we unbox new listings, launchpads, and of course, surprise giveaways in real time. I'm your host for today. My name is Shadi, and today we're diving into an exciting project. First of all, let me see where everyone is watching in from. So drop in your country in the comments section, and we'll read them out loud in a bit. So today we're diving into the future of mobile Web3 with Jambo, a project that's not just building a phone, but a crypto-native ecosystem set to onboard the next billion users. Jambo already has 6.6 million wallets registered, and that's only in 2024. They've already sold 700,000 Jambo phones in 120 plus countries, and they're backed by the likes of Paradigm. That's very exciting. And we got to meet the team in many different countries also. And because we love our ByBit family, we have a special treat for you. We have 5 Jambo phones up for grabs. And do you want to know how to qualify? Here's how to qualify. Sign up on ByBit, register for the event on the announcement page, which we will drop to you as well. And you can find it on our social media pages. And deposit 100 USDT or more to secure your chance. Stay tuned for more details during the stream. Now, let's jump into the main event. To tell us more about this incredible project, we have James Zhang, co-founder and CEO of Jambo. James, welcome to the ByBit pop-up stream. How are you doing today? James, you need to unmute, by the way.
Well, what a great start, eh?
Cool.
Thanks for having me, Shadi. Hi to everyone on the stream. Very excited to share. Thanks for having me today.
Anytime, man. It's good to have you. How excited are you? Your project has been growing so fast, and everyone's been literally hyping about it so much. We saw our announcement tweets for the live stream got over 500K views, which is so unheard of.
No, I think it's not just myself. The entire team has been super excited. You know, anytime, especially in Web3 and crypto, right? Like you do a lot of work on your product, et cetera. But at the end of the day, who comes into your project, a lot of it is how you distribute your token and value and make your community money. And a lot of that distribution process and reaching to our users actually through platforms such as yourself on ByBit. So really appreciate being here.
100%. So let's kind of jump into the questions. And I think most of the users would also love to hear about all the things that makes Jambo Jambo. What inspired the creation of Jambo phone? And what makes it unique compared to other Web3 devices?
100%. Maybe to prelude this question, I'll give a quick background on myself, because this really ties into how we started Jambo. Essentially, I'm James, co-founder and CEO of Jambo. I'm ethnically Chinese, but I grew up my entire life in Africa, in the DRC in Central Africa. Family's 3rd generation from there. You know, when you grow up in an area, you know, somewhere like Africa with 54 countries and 1.4 billion people, huge,
very
insane.
Huge.
You can't, you when you're in the States, you can send money to your friend, you know, using Venmo. In China, you can use WeChat. You know, in Brazil, Pix. But at the end of the day, in Africa, there is no, you know, really cross-border payment system. You know, when you're trying to do remittances and pay, you know, your supplier, et cetera, it's very, very difficult. Right. And at the end of the day, banking the unbanked, where more than 40% of the region is like that. So long story short
cash transfers mostly. Sorry, I was saying I think they send cash transfers mostly.
No, exactly. Right. Like I'm really picking on Africa to give examples here. But at the end of the day, even if you look at Mexico, there's 58 billion of remittances every year, 100%. About 3.4% of the GDP of Mexico is that, but 6 to 10% of cost to send a transaction. So there's so much being taken away by legacy systems, by middlemen. So long story short, to wrap this up is grew up in Africa, ended up in New York studying computer science at NYU. I ran a crypto fund for 4 years from 2017 to 21. I was very fortunate that when I graduated, it was the first sort of crypto retail bull wave. But essentially, at the end of the day, really want to touch upon the reasons why I got into crypto and how I grew up, which is cross-border payments, remittances, banking the unbanked, and all that with mobile. So that's how Jambo essentially started. We realized no matter if it's our largest market right now, like Latin America, like Brazil, Southeast Asia or Africa, mobile is the beginning and end for most things. So that's sort of how we even came about to Jambo. Now, real quick on what makes the Jambo phone different. It's a $99 US smartphone that you can play games like PUBG, Genshin Impact with no lag. 10 a.m. you buy the phone, you're 19 years old in Lagos. You come into the phone, there's 20 applications pre-installed. Our Jambo app is only one of them. It's your multi-chain wallet where we support over 13 chains at the moment, and your questing platform. Tells you how to spend your time in the other apps to earn tokens. And then we provide you on and off ramps in over 100 countries. So essentially it's the phone that pays you. But yeah, we're very proud of the team to be building the largest on-chain mobile network today.
It's fantastic. I mean, the first time I ever saw the phone was actually at Solana Breakpoint, and I was really excited to see it. When you told me when one of your team members, I think it was, what was his name? The guy who always wears tank tops?
It might be Sam, our marketing.
The South Korean guy?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He was like, I mean, his energy is just insane. And I think you got the right person to promote Jambo for you. When you guys discussed the price, I was like in awe. I was like, wow, really? Like $99 just for like a smartphone? I mean, even the major players in smartphones don't even have like $100 smartphones. And you guys are making it with an extra additive where you have wallet and you can earn while you use the phone, which is a fantastic thing that you guys came up with. So right now, like Jambo has already like registered 6.6 million wallets. How has that journey been, and what's the next step to like scaling the user base? I mean, to be honest, the price itself will just get everyone on board, but what else will you guys do?
I think at the end of the day, Jambo is just trying to solve the issue of choke point for crypto adoption, which is onboarding and accessibility. With onboarding, you want to have the full stack infrastructure to bring to a user. If I just provide it, if I don't even say a phone, right? If I say Jambo, we're providing full vertically integrated infrastructure for users to be able to actually access the best decentralized mobile applications. Might not even be a phone. It could be anything that has pre-installed Web3 apps. It has connectivity to the internet, localized, and on-ramp and off-ramp. I think a big part of our strategy, like the team goes to sleep and wakes up, is just distribution. And we know distribution is king. And that's why we don't make a single dollar on our phone. Like we break even, to be honest, with our margin, which is very different from traditional how a company is run. So essentially what we want to do is get as many phones out there as possible, have the best partners pre-installed in the phone. And essentially then can we actually bring this to the masses and always talk about onboarding next billion users. I believe, honestly, this is one of the ways to do so, when you can own the vertically integrated infrastructure and provide connectivity.
Okay, cool. Can you give me a bit of a background on like how you met with the majority of your team? Like how did you kind of like get majority of these people on board, and what were their kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They're like USP, let's say, that made them the team that you need to launch the phone?
Great question. I'll put it this way, right? Right now we sell to over 100 countries, like very cross-border distribution. But the team that I have around me, at least, even the closest, there's at least a few of them I went to school with over 10 years ago, including the Sam, South Korean. He used to be a K-pop star. I think trust and how we work together is a big part, and knowing what journey you're on. So to get into more specifics is, I think it's a huge advantage that I grew up in Africa to understand the issues, the needs, and what to bring over, the problems to solve. But at the end of the day, when you deal with a smartphone, you're dealing with supply chain, anything with hardware supply chain, and that is almost always in Asia. So being Chinese, we can communicate with a lot of the suppliers. We can get the cost low. It took like a year to get 3 factories and to get our cost in, lower than $99, because you got to still factor in shipping, customs tax, and your distributors need to make money. So end of the day, I think very fortunate to meet a lot of the team along the journey. But honestly, a lot of the C-level members are, very good friends I've known for a long time, and they've been in the space for a while as well.
Fantastic. How many team members do you have at the moment?
Core team, I'd say around 10, 12. Total team over 80. And a big part of that is the way our company is set up with distributing to so many countries, right? Like growing up in Africa, in Congo, Belgium, I speak French, and that is great for West Africa, etc. But in
Amazing.
Brazil, like, that's Portuguese, our main market, Latam, Spanish. So I think a lot of what we do is sort of trying to localize.
It's a big team. I mean, big team for like that kind of project, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait,
Exactly.
at the moment, does it only come in blue, or what other colors does it come in?
So Jambo Phone 1 was actually released 2024, January. Yeah. And we sold about 700 something thousand phones. Most of that is Jambo Phone 1s because we only announced the Jambo Phone 2 at Solana Breakpoint a few months ago. And essentially the difference is triple the specs, Jambo Phone 2 of Jambo Phone 1, same price. And the light blue is sort of a bit more in tune with our company culture and our branding. But at the end of the day, I think it's just the most powerful, like no cost, machine for you to spend time, earn tokens. Everything there's Web3 inside. The App Store is Android. I'll make that very clear for everyone, right? Because if you want to ship to over 100 countries and work with distributors and all these to reach these new users, if you're not an Android or iOS system, the distributors don't even work with you. So when you're trying to do numbers in the over 500K to millions this year, you have to solve supply chain and margins, and at the end of the day, that as well. So yeah, light blue is a bit of our design side.
Nice. I mean, it suits it, especially for when it comes to Web3. I mean, ByBit went for the whole purple. Some players went for green. Some players went for like a darker shade. But I feel like the flashiness of blue, green, purple, and I think there's one more color just represents Web3.
For sure. By the way, Shadi, I don't know if you're looking at the chat. I think there might be a restart or something.
Yes, I think we're going to restart the stream.
Okay.
Let's restart the stream because there was an issue with the link. Hello and welcome back to ByBit pop-up stream number 8. We apologize for the technical issues that we had before, but we'll make sure that this is worth your while. The latest addition to our live stream lineup, where we unbox new listings, launchpads, and of course, surprise giveaways in real time. I'm your host for today, Shadi. Today, we're diving into the future of mobile Web3 with Jambo, a project that's not just building a phone, but a crypto-native ecosystem set to onboard the next billion users. Jambo already has 6.6 million wallets registered, and that's only in 2024. They've sold over 700,000 phones in 120 plus countries. They're backed by the likes of Paradigm. Now, the moment you guys have been waiting for, which is the giveaway. And because we love our ByBit family so much, we have a special treat for you. We have 5 Jambo phones up for grabs. All you have to do is sign up to ByBit, register for the event on the announcement page, and then deposit 100 USDT or more to be qualified. We will make sure that you have the announcement page link soon. And also you can check out the announcement page link on our social media channels. So without further ado, let's go to the main event. To tell us more about this incredible project, we have James Zhang, co-founder and CEO of Jambo. James, welcome to the ByBit pop-up stream. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Shadi. Excited to chat with the entire fam on stream right now.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an exciting one. Everyone's excited for this amazing phone that only costs, what, 99 USD? So let's dive right in. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what Jambo is all about?
For sure. James, co-founder, CEO of Jambo, ethnically Chinese, grew up my entire life in DRC, Central Africa, family's 3rd generation from there, ended up in New York, studied comp sci at NYU, ran a crypto fund for 4 years from 2017 to 21. Until I was 26 at the time, I realized I got into crypto for reasons such as cross-border payments, banking the unbanked, and remittances, right? You have billions of remittance flows, people paying 5 to 10%. That makes up even almost 2%, 3% of certain countries' GDPs, and all lost in middleman fees, etc. And even if you have the rails to do so. So essentially, we realized our Africa, LATAM, Southeast Asia, no matter where you are in an emerging market, it begins and ends with the mobile infrastructure because everyone skipped the PC. So what Jambo honestly is here to do, we're building the largest on-chain mobile network through number one, the Jambo phone product, where $99 took us a bit over a year to get down 3 factory supply chain in China to be able to get down to the margins that we want with the specs that we have, right? Like you can play Genshin Impact, PUBG, no lag on your $99 Web3 smartphone, 12 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. We make $0 from the phone. We want to get as many phones out there as possible. We've done about 700,000 in 2024 so that we can have the power to reach users through the pre-installed Web3 applications in our entire ecosystem.
That's fantastic, man. Like that's an amazing journey. And the Jambo phone is a fantastic product. And I got to test it out when I was at Solana Breakpoint and got to meet some of your exciting team. So at the moment, like what kind of, I mean, I know that you said that you wanted to make cross-border payments a little bit easier. So is that what inspired the creation of the Jambo phone? And what makes it unique compared to other Web3 devices?
100%. I'll share this first, right? I think in Web3, what are we trying to solve here? The adoption chokehold.
Yeah.
I think that is the main thing. Onboarding and accessibility, if you break it down. Now, onboarding, if you don't have your device, if everything is purely on-chain, it's very hard to onboard a new user in these markets, right? And if accessibility, they don't have internet or Wi-Fi connection or not even a phone to access you, also very difficult. So I'll just put this at a high level out there first. This is what the Jambo team strives out to be. Now, let's see, differences with other Web3 products. Let's see, we're also on Solana, right? The J token's launching on Solana. We love the Solana Saga, the Seeker. I think what they're doing is really cool. They're trying to disrupt the app store, right? They're taking 30%, whether Google Play, iOS, anyone that's ever developed an app or had that process submitting application to these stores know how annoying the centralization is. Now, Jambo would love to do that as well, right? With that being said, we are an Android based phone system. And the reason for that is because when you distribute to over 100 countries, right now, I think 128, and you have want to do a few million sales of phone units, the distributors that you work with won't even talk to you if you're not Android or iOS. So for us, that was a big part. Now we have a dApp store as well for a lot of progressive web apps and other dApps that are pre-installed. Now, I think what makes us unique, honestly, is, apart from the price point and from everything you just see from a hardware perspective, the all-in-one flywheel ecosystem, where when you come in as a user, it's very, I feel like, self-intuitive. Say the Jambo phone flow, right? 10 a.m., you buy the Jambo phone in, say, Sao Paulo, Brazil, right? You're 19 years old, you buy the phone. The slogan is the phone that pays. You're like, James, what does this even mean? Let me buy the phone. You come inside, there's 20 applications that are pre-installed. Only one of them is your Jambo app, which is your multi-chain wallet that supports over 13 chains now, and your questing platform, which tells you what to do and how to spend time in the other 19 apps so you can earn their tokens, which are all fully liquid, and we provide you an on-ramp and off-ramp to your local currency in over 100 countries now. So I say that's a bit of the unique part, where we're really tailoring it for that new user coming into crypto.
No, that's fantastic to hear, man. Like you guys have achieved amazing milestones so far. How many people do you have on your team at the moment?
We have about 80 something on our team, core team members around 10. And a lot of them have
like global.
Global, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you ship to over 100 countries, right, and even how this industry is set up has to be global. Now, that being said, as well, a lot of our team members are working together at the moment right now under one roof, pre-TGE. So it's a very exciting time for us.
Amazing. So speaking of the milestones that I was mentioning before, you guys have already registered 6.6 million wallets. That's insane. How has that journey been, and what's the next step in scaling the user base?
Yes, sir. I think one of the most important parts, honestly, whether you say 6.6 million wallets, or 60 million wallets created, end of the day is how you retain those users. Because it's very
100%.
easy, as everyone in the industry knows, if you do some on-chain farming or XYZ, very easy to make your numbers look pretty. But at the end of the day, who are that core community of yours? Now, it was a little bit harder for us just because we're dealing with many different jurisdictions. It's not purely on chain, right? Like I grew up in Congo, Belgium, so I speak French. That pertains to, say, West Africa, and helps me in certain other European countries for distribution. Whereas right now, our largest market is like Brazil or Argentina, Portuguese and Spanish, right? Like I don't speak those. So localizing and still doing right and giving updates to your local community, I think is super important. Moving ahead this year, I think later there will be a segment on what I want to share. So I'll share that later, but
cool.
How to connect all of our Jambo phones to provide instantaneous access, to internet, etc., for our users that have a phone is a big part of our mission this year, on top of hardware device sales.
I mean, look, you're completely right. Localization and engaging with the local communities is like the most important thing you can do. Because, I mean, to be honest, the best form of marketing at the moment, it's still the traditional word of mouth. So once you scale that and get everyone talking about your product, you have nothing to worry about. Your product's going to sell itself. I just want to remind users, speaking of the product, so today's giveaway, we're giving away 5 Jambo phones. We're doing that. All you have to do is sign up to ByBit, register for the event and announcement page, and deposit 100 USDT or more, and that's how you win. So remember, 5 Jambo phones are up for grabs. So to move on to the next question, how was your experience launching Jambo with ByBit? Any highlights or challenges you'd like to share?
For sure. I don't know if I'm speaking for every founder that's going through a token generation event and process, but I mean, speaking for myself is no matter how hard you build your product, right? And let's say in traditional finance and Web2, you build your company. There's a reason why VC funds are set up at 7+3, but basically 10-year structures. Because it takes about a decade for a company to build up, to go public, etc. Obviously, in this space, things are a little bit faster and a faster time frame, right? But when you're building that product, you're earning your revenue. For us as a hardware company, you have your supply chain, you have your margins, you have a distributor, you have employees, you have all that. That's all good and well, but if you don't reward your core community and if you don't distribute your token and your value to your users, none of that completes the flywheel. And a partner like ByBit is honestly probably everyone's end goal for a lot of founders, to be able to reach this platform, to be on the stream, to then have the token listed, to then reach out to your users. So honestly, it's been a great, I believe you're in Dubai at the moment?
Yes, correct. HQ is in Dubai.
Amazing. HQ is in Dubai. I've been at HQ in Singapore, et cetera. People, everyone's been super helpful. So it's honestly been a pretty pleasant experience.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, like we try to make it as a, as simple experience as we can. But of course, like there's a set of rules that we do have to follow, like any other exchange. But I mean, we appreciate it when there's a sense of collaboration between us and also the project itself, and we want to build something together and foster and nurture the community together as well. And giving back to the community is one of the things that we like to do with the majority of the projects. And you guys are kind enough to give away like 5 Jambo phones to the community today, so it's actually really, really exciting. And we look forward to see how far Jambo can scale. So speaking of like community, how does Jambo plan to foster community engagement and growth as you scale?
Yes, sir. So especially in this space, right, a big way to bootstrap your community and to have, you know, early followings to reward them. And a big part of that is either from airdrops, from rewarding through other ways directly in your app, or even from exchange venues such as with ByBit. I think for Jambo, a big way our tokenomics is set up, you know, even in Series A when we raised 3 years ago, sorry, before we sold a single phone, right, half of your due diligence with Paradigm, who's never invested in Africa or emerging markets that much, is to explain like how you are sort of going to put all of this together. Now, with our token coming out and with us having completed our fundraising already and with our devices out there, a big part of scaling and rewarding the community is having various campaigns and honestly fun loops. I would say like the last thing we want is, hey, go here, do this and do that, and you earn this. Like, I feel like this is a big of how things are done at the moment, you know, especially with a quest. That's like exactly what a quest is. I think we're trying to make things more interactive where, let's go back, 2021, 2020, Axie Infinity, YGG, right? Well, how did Axie Infinity take off in the Philippines? It's a big part because YGG being the biggest guild in the Philippines, right? It didn't take off in Indonesia, a much larger Southeast Asian country.
100%.
So similarly for Jambo, a big part of what we're doing is we are providing that sort of on-off ramp, direct exchanges, right? YGG set up Binance listing or other listings locally so that users could actually trade their tokens and have liquidity to local Filipino dollar. Similarly for us, we're doing this in over 100 countries. You know, for our users, you know, a lot of people are on Telegram or on email for crypto, but in a lot of our communities, it's predicated on a lot of WhatsApp as well, because WhatsApp has won that battle in many of these emerging markets. So we have with our communities there.
Cool. Amazing. I mean, that's exciting to hear as well. Can you share any exciting partnerships or collaborations in the pipeline that could enhance Jambo's ecosystem? Maybe something that will probably interest the majority of the users as well.
100%. All right. Let me throw some alpha out here on this live stream. It's actually hasn't really been shared out there yet. I don't know about the viewers. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you, Shadi. But when I hear about the next frontier, about space, it gets me very excited, right? I think that's why Elon Musk is such a revered individual. That being said, Jambo is launching its own satellite this year in 2025. And a big part of our satellite program, yes, sir, is to enable data access connectivity. Bomb drop.
Wait, so like how do you just launch a satellite? Like, how does it like a company just launch a satellite? I don't get it.
For sure. Here, let me give you 2 parts. How do you launch a satellite? Why are you launching a satellite? Now, also take this with a grain of salt because I've never launched a satellite before, right? Just,
fine.
Just like before making Jambo, I never made a phone. But the way you launch a satellite is you either work with third parties or you have your first party. You know, you can work with other guys with Starlink to put your satellite on their rockets to get up there. Or you can also just buy data from other satellites to provide your users.
So it's like Uber for satellites.
Exactly. For us, we're actually going to do the model where we own the stack still, as you can tell with us. So we're going to launch our own satellite. Now gets to the why. The reason we're launching it is to connect all the Jambo phones out there. That's just very simple. But if you think about it, we've essentially solved one of the largest parts of hardware censorship, right? We are hardware censorship resistant with our own phone, with our own software inside as well. Now, for internet censorship, that is something we haven't solved because you still have to work with your local telco. You still have to put a SIM card in the phone. So that's always been on Jambo's roadmap. So I think in 2025, we'll finally be able to do this where there's over 3 billion people worldwide that still lack reliable internet access. Right? If with satellites, you can literally bridge the digital divide of unlocks and untapped market potential.
Exactly. I mean, look, Web3 is supposed to stay decentralized. Web3 is supposed to be open to everyone, right? Like, I mean, what you're doing is essentially like scaling Web3. You're creating, you know, a Web3 space for all the Jambo phone users. which is like insane. That's insane. I've never heard of anything like this before. That's exciting news. And when can we expect this to be in space?
Yes, sir. So I don't even think I should be sharing all of this, but
okay.
So we actually have, okay, you know what? I actually am not allowed to share this. Our legal would kill me because we have announcements, etc. things coming up. Please stay tuned to Jambo's Twitter. We're announcing it all pretty much within the next 10 days.
Okay, well, you heard it from the CEO himself. Go follow Jambo on Twitter so you can stay up to date to when they're going to launch their satellite to space. And you guys should really grab a Jambo phone before he launches the satellite, because I think after the launch of the satellite, you probably hike the price up as well.
For sure.
No, I'm not sure. Like,
yeah, Shadi, a lot of people even ask me, like, James, so how are you rewarding your users? You know, with satellites, with phones, but is there an airdrop for users? I'm sure that is one of the biggest questions, even on the stream. Now, the only thing, the alpha I'll share, especially because you guys are all tuned into me for over 20 minutes talking now, is make sure you have a Jambo phone and you do a quest inside the phone. Make sure that. Now, and it's not too late. So if you don't have a phone, go buy a phone. If you have a phone, activate it and do one single quest.
Fantastic. I mean, you don't even have to call it an airdrop anymore. You could call it a space drop. You're like dropping it straight from the satellite. That could be the name of your campaign. That's like something exciting. I mean, guys, like he said it, you go get a Jambo phone. And also, we're giving away 5 Jambo phones. Like we said, you all you have to do is sign up to ByBit, register for the event, and deposit 100 USDT or more. I mean, this is going to scale to something like to places that we didn't even know. He's gonna be in space. Do you know what you should do? You should probably get, well, whatever company, maybe it's Starlink, I'm not sure. You should get them to plaster your face onto the satellite. Because then you'd be the first person with like, like a face on a satellite.
Just be this Asian dude looking on a satellite. What's going on out here?
Yeah, exactly. The Asian dude looking down on you. You know how the Asian parents look down on their kids? Same thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. So I think let's hear from our community. We received some questions about Jambo and its plans for the future. Let's see what we got. Okay. What feedback have you already received from the first Jambo phone users, and how has this impacted your product?
Great question. Great question. I'll say this, there's feedback that we've received, and then there's also feedback that we haven't received into data points. A good thing about owning the hardware is you really have the full data that you can really tap into to provide better services to your users. On what we haven't received is we can see really like 5 hours of DAU on certain Jambo phones in certain regions. So that tells us certain people are actually using this phone as, their primary phone. But then we also have data on the other side that has certain people, like one address buying 100 Jambo phones, to Korea. I'm assuming this guy isn't, trying to use 100 phones at once, might be doing some farming. That's it. That being said,
reselling.
So, yes, exactly. Now, that being said, what we have received is the camera is not great. I'm going to keep it real with you. I respect ByBit too much as a platform and say, hey, this is the best phone in the world, right? You put the specs against your iPhone that you're holding, it's not going to be as good because there's just one thing that you cannot enhance no matter how intricate you go, and that's the camera system. So yes, number one for Jambo Phone 1 is please improve the camera. Second is around some of the RAM specs. In the Jambo Phone 1, I believe there was still some lag in playing certain FPS games. Like for example, one of our partners is Matrix Fire. It's listed on ByBit actually as well. Great project, Web3 FPS game. So we really want to make sure we do right by not only our audience and partner. So that's when the Jambo Phone 2, we tripled the specs. Essentially, we were able to do that after a few months with our team. And now we solve some of these issues. Well, the camera still is not as good as your iPhones, but much better now.
I mean, look, you built a phone for a certain purpose, I don't think it's the camera should be the main talking point. If it was any of the other features that you built the phone for, as in its purpose, then I'd understand, I guess. But then, I guess that's all I have to say about that. So the next question is, what are your plans? This is actually an interesting question. What are your plans to integrate new technologies like AI or AR into your ecosystem?
Pretty straightforward. Right now on the Jambo phone 2, we have Jambo GPT, where you can access OpenAI and ChatGPT directly through crypto and buying our phone, versus you have to use legacy payment rails currently for OpenAI. And also our data on that is up to date. So you can literally ask your Jambo GPT, hey, what is the trailing Solana price the last 30 days versus Bitcoin? What other token should I buy? Do you like IXPT? How's the token trading? Real-time data. AR, we haven't dug into as much. Just keep it very short. I don't want to put out much plans for the future. But in the markets that we are in, for example, in our top 10 markets, 4 is from LATAM, then going down 2 from Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and then you have like Thailand, Philippines, Indo from Southeast Asia. Now, in certain of these different regions, we're honestly getting a lot of different feedbacks as well for what people want to see, for what people want us to do with the next product or XYZ. So if you have anything from your community, please ping our Telegram, Discord, or Twitter comments. And honestly, we're looking at this real-time feedback when we're designing our next product.
Fantastic. I mean, the next question also kind of dives into almost the same, I think the same kind of answer that you gave, but it's like, okay, so this is the question. What specific steps is Jambo taking to gain the trust of users in developing countries where digital literacy is low and Web3 is often viewed with distrust? So I think you've already tapped into majority of these markets, but what other steps are you taking to gain the trust of users?
For sure. Before I say our steps, like go to market in these regions, let me actually count. I honestly have a counter opinion to this. I know it's just a question, but my counter opinion is it's not a company that's going to come into these developing countries and provide you the users of why they need to use Web3 or, hey, you have to use these rails. Actually, if you look at El Salvador, they have an entire Bitcoin, instead of gold, digital reserve. I grew up in Africa. I went to school in New York. Both parties use crypto every day. In New York to trade, in Africa to pay their wood supplier in Senegal when they're in Congo. It's like the use for this is already out there. And nonetheless, I didn't even mention stable coins, from whether remittances, saving, literally percentages of countries' GDP, or to hedge against hyperinflation. I think the Web3 is already there for the needed countries, and they are using it in certain ways. It's just they're not honestly connected to the entire digital infrastructure or the economic infrastructure, because number one, they don't have credit. So like your phone number in many of these countries is like your ENS domain. That's like your credit system. So building up that credit profile, that's honestly something Jambo is trying to do through the data and through how we are sort of talking to our users. Now, steps that we have taken coming into these countries, because yes, they might be like, hey, we're doing this already with the guys that we're working with, like say Yellow Card Exchange in Africa, or Bivavo in Europe, or etc. Just throwing out there. Why will we work with you? Now, educating is the obvious answer to go, right? You see the CZ, education. But the problem with education, let me tell you, is for someone to learn something, you have to first admit you don't know something. And I don't know when the last time you had an argument or a conversation with anyone is they start admitting they don't know something so they can learn from you. So our Learn and Earn campaign was probably the most successful go-to-market strategy for honestly onboarding new users to learn. But the only way to do that is you have to provide incentives at the end. So say it's 10-week curriculum, week 1, what are exchanges? Why is it necessary? Why are sexes necessary? Provide them with, say, X token, the ByBit tokens, or etc. Week 2, what is layer 2s or layer 1s? And then provide them with certain sponsored other tokens. So that's a bit about how steps we took into these different countries.
No, that's amazing. It's kind of exciting to hear, and it's great what you're doing for the community as well. Like, I think digital literacy is something very vital and very important, especially when we're going into 2025, where now we're going to hear hopefully great news over the weekend. The entire crypto space, the entire Web3 space is patiently waiting for this exciting news. I believe every single corner of the world needs to jump on this wave with us, because it's now or never. It's literally now or never. There was a statistic that someone mentioned to me that the entire crypto token holders or even adopters in the world are about 6.8% of the total population of the world.
Insane.
And that's trillions of dollars. It's mind-boggling. So with more adoption, the market is just going to go ballistic, and also everyone's going to start adopting all these what's it called? Sorry, they're going to be using Web3 games. They're going to be using Web3 AI tools. What else is there? Web3 social media platforms. I mean, complete decentralized. Everyone will have freedom to do whatever they want. Anyway, I'll take one final question probably. And the question is, will there be a discount of phone fees when using Solana blockchain?
So a big reason, let me actually share why. A lot of people ask me this, right? Like, why are you in Solana when they have a phone, right? And my response, the simple, quick response is, we're not a phone company, which is a crazy thing to say when your number one product is a phone, and that's how you brand it. This is the thing. Like, we have presence in over 100 countries. We are in the local community chats. We work with various local influencers beyond just Web3 influencers and speak to the local communities. And Solana, in my opinion, has won the consumer chain thesis. Like, from KOLs to users there, they already have Phantom. They already use Solana. Like, I swear, like, this is what we saw. Now, beyond that, inside the Jambo phone, we used to pay out our users ERC20 USDC, and the fees were just too high for the amount of transactions that we were doing to the amount of users in various locations. And we realized using SPL and USDT was much easier and cheaper. And cheaper, obviously, from the Solana blockchain, but easier because Tether is actually, it's not even a close comparison. It's by an order of magnitude more prevalent in emerging markets. So it was just a lot easier working with the two things that people in those markets already had or already were familiar with. So I didn't want to give a crazy long response, but sort of we already try to discount the fees inside the phone by using the Solana blockchain.
Fantastic. Okay, great. I think one question, because I'm really excited about getting a Jambo phone now. How long does it take to deliver, roughly?
So usually it takes between 30 to 45 days. The thing right now is we got a huge influx in the last week from TG announcement, so it might be closer to the 45-day mark than 30.
Okay, cool. Any like anything you could do for a brother, you know, hook a brother up?
Okay. How is this? What if we provided a code that is like a faster, we have a VIP shipping team that helps with the shipping to be faster for VIP clients. What if we provided a code for the ByBit live stream, and everyone later on the stream that uses that code can get it much faster? Is that
fantastic?
Something
okay. I mean, guys, in the comment section, like, just say out loud, is that something you'd want?
We'll drop the code right after this if everyone's down for that. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. All right, stay tuned in the comment section, and hopefully a code will come up where you get your Jambo phone quicker than most people who order it from their website. James, man, it's been absolutely amazing to learn about Jambo and the Jambo phone, and it's been a pleasure talking to you. I wish I could talk to you like more about the Jambo phone, but I am waiting for you to launch your satellite, because then I want to know more. Thank you so much, and thank you to the viewers. James, do you have any final words for our viewers?
Honestly, anyone that stuck through till the end of the stream, hearing me talk, I really appreciate it. It shows your love to Jambo. I'm gonna get you guys that code, and stay tuned for the satellite info on our Twitter. It'll be very exciting. And please, 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 if you already have a phone, just go do one quest inside the phone I'm just giving you all some tips for what I see with my team designing the airdrops mechanics. And then secondly is, if you don't have a phone, order one. It's not too late.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, James. It's been a fantastic live stream today. That's it for today. Thanks for joining our pop-up live stream number 8. Stay tuned for more streams where we unbox listings, launchpads, and giveaways. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Also follow Jambo Phone on social media. And await that code in the comment section so you can get your Jambo Phone much quicker than most of other users. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
Cheers.